You don't say it out loud, but you feel it. That subtle tightening in your chest when someone asks, "So, what happened to you?" You hesitate, your nervous system already scanning the room, not for danger, but for permission. You've learned how to tell your story. You've learned how to package your pain into something palatable, something that sounds honest, but not too heavy, something vulnerable, but not inconvenient. And maybe you've learned how to reveal just enough trauma to feel seen without ever truly being safe. Here is the paradox no one warned you about. The truth that once freed you can become the very thing that exposes you. Because trauma does not dissolve simply because it is spoken, and not every listener deserves access to your wounds. Some people don't hear your story as sacred. They hear it as currency, as entertainment, as leverage, as a way to define you before you define yourself. And if you've ever walked away from a conversation feeling smaller, emptier, or strangely ashamed after being open, this video is for you. Because healing is not about revealing everything, it's about revealing wisely. To understand why revealing trauma can be dangerous in certain spaces, we have to understand what trauma actually does to the mind. Trauma is not the event. It is the nervous system's unfinished response to overwhelming experience. When you share trauma, you are not sharing a story. You are sharing an activated neural network, memories encoded with threat, fear, and survival chemistry. Let's ground this in psychology. 1. Hypervigilance. Hypervigilance is the trauma-conditioned state of constant alertness. The brain, particularly the amygdala, remains on high sensitivity, always scanning for cues of rejection, danger, or invalidation. When you reveal trauma in unsafe environments, hypervigilance intensifies. Your body interprets subtle reactions, a pause, a glance, a tone, as threat. This is why you may replay conversations for hours afterward. Your nervous system is not overthinking, it is protecting you. 2. Emotional neglect schema. Many trauma survivors grew up in environments where emotions were minimized, ignored, or punished. As adults, they internalize a belief: my pain only matters if it is explained perfectly or justified. This creates a compulsion to over-explain trauma to be taken seriously. But disclosure does not heal neglect. Attunement does. 3. Avoidant anxious attachment loop. Trauma disclosure can unconsciously become a test. Will you stay if you see all of me? This often pulls survivors into cycles where vulnerability is rushed, boundaries are skipped, and emotional intimacy is forced before trust is earned. Your nervous system mistakes exposure for connection, but true intimacy is built slowly through safety, consistency, and reciprocity. There is a grief no one talks about, the grief of telling your story and realizing it landed nowhere. The grief of being brave and still feeling unseen. The grief of shrinking yourself afterward, wondering if you said too much, if you were too intense, too broken, too real. Carl Jung once wrote, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." But trauma survivors often do something even more painful. They offer themselves before they've been accepted. And the cost is subtle. You start editing your truth. You start apologizing for your past. You start believing your pain is only valid if it's useful to someone else. This creates what philosophers might call invisible grief, mourning the version of yourself that deserved protection but learned exposure instead. The core fear beneath this pattern is not attention, it is abandonment. If I don't explain myself, they'll misunderstand me. If I don't show them my scars, they'll leave. And so even simple moments, first dates, workplace conversations, friendships, become loaded with existential weight. You are not just speaking, you are negotiating your right to belong. This pattern doesn't disappear with age, it evolves. You might overshare personal trauma early in relationships, then feel exposed afterward. Feel compelled to prove your pain to be taken seriously. Confuse emotional dumping with emotional intimacy. Struggle with boundaries, either too open or completely shut down. Feel ashamed for needing privacy. Minimize your experiences after sharing them. Become emotionally exhausted after social interactions. Tie your self-worth to how compassionately others respond. These are not personality flaws. They are adaptive survival strategies. Your nervous system learned that safety came from being understood, so it tries to earn understanding quickly. Unlearning begins not with silence, but with discernment. This is the shift from "I must explain myself to be safe" to "I am allowed to protect my story." Witness yourself instead of judging yourself. Notice when disclosure feels grounding and when it feels draining. That difference is your body communicating truth. Healing does not mean becoming secretive. It means becoming selective. Here are grounded paths forward. Inner child reparenting. Speak to the part of you that learned to reveal pain for connection. Tell them, you don't have to earn safety anymore. Nervous system regulation. Before sharing something vulnerable, pause. Check your body. Are you calm or activated? Regulation before revelation. Shadow work. Explore the unconscious belief, if I hide, I will be abandoned. Bring compassion, not force, into that space. Choosing softness over survival. You are allowed to heal quietly. You are allowed to let trust grow slowly. You are allowed to keep parts of yourself sacred. As philosopher Rainer Maria Rilke wrote, have patience with everything unresolved in your heart and try to love the questions themselves. Your trauma is not content. It is not currency. It is not proof of depth. It is a living part of you, worthy of protection, reverence, and time. The goal is not to be fixed. It is to become whole. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who needs permission to protect their story. And if you want more deep psychological explorations like this, consider subscribing. Your healing does not need an audience. It needs safety. And you are allowed to choose it.